Welcome back to On Point. I'm Andy Martins. Another edition for a brand new week. We're live on TV and live on Facebook. Big week for the federal election on TV. We have Sara McCleary here today, Amy Zaccato tomorrow, and an all-candidates debate with Tim and Luann on Thursday. We'll start all of that right after these commercial messages.
This is On TV.
Welcome to the Machine Shop, our historic venue and gathering place for friends and family. Built in 1899 on the site of a Northwest Company trading post. Today we are a go-to venue hosting many expos, concerts, weddings, and more. While you're here, choose one of our dining experiences. Enjoy a quiet dinner at the Mill Steakhouse and Wine Bar, watch a game and try wood fire oven pizza and local draft at the Boiler Room, or treat yourself every day to gelato and local coffee at the Gelato Mill. For more information on the Machine Shop, visit machineshopinc.ca.
Here, your education is everything, supporting your true sense of purpose. Here, you'll learn from professors who will understand you, who will challenge you, and offer you support on your journey. Here, you'll study programs built on real values: business, technology, science, arts and social sciences, always geared to make a positive difference. Here, you'll have a chance to assist in faculty research, leaving your mark wherever you go. Here, you'll focus on what matters to you and impact the world around you. Algoma University. Come take a closer look.
Welcome back to On Point. I'm Andy Martins. Again, we're live on TV and Facebook, and it's, as I mentioned off the opening, it's last 2 weeks before the federal election on October 21st. 3 of the 5 candidates will be here between now and then. And we started off with Sara McCleary, the NDP candidate. I've said from the start, do not underestimate this woman. She knows politics. Welcome to On Point, Sara.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. Let's let the audience know, why are you running in this election? What are the important issues for you?
I've been really open since the start of the campaign about my own family's, our personal struggles financially, living paycheck to paycheck, and my husband, when we lost our benefits, having to go 3 months without one of his diabetes medications. So, sorry. So I think it's really important, I know I'm not the only person in the Sioux going through that. So I think that it's really important that we be represented by somebody who's living the same realities as the everyday person in Sault Ste. Marie, rather than having people who've never gone through those issues kind of deciding top down that, this is what we need to get by and to make life better for us and more affordable. So I'm really doing this so I can represent the average person in Sault Ste. Marie.
Have you found that people are resonating with that message at the door?
Definitely. I'm hearing from a lot of people that they're struggling day to day. They can't afford their bills. They're choosing between groceries and rent, and it's not right. And so it's really important to me that I'm doing this. I'm using my voice and getting out there and helping people and showing them that there is a good choice that will actually make life more affordable.
Exactly. And we kind of keep electing doctors and lawyers, and I think that's a good message, that somebody that can identify with the common man or woman out there. How is the NDP different from other parties?
I think it really comes down to the fact that we genuinely want to help the average person. The Liberals and Conservatives for years have made life easier for their rich friends, the biggest corporations, and they're giving subsidies to the fossil fuel industry rather than giving clean water to the First Nations communities up north. And so we're really focused on helping the everyday person be able to get by. Make their life more affordable rather than trying to help our friends who are funding our campaigns, right? Which is what the Liberals and Conservatives tend to do.
Right. Can you kind of give us a brief overview of the NDP platform that illustrates how you help the common person that people may not know at this point?
Well, really, like I said, it's really focused on making life more affordable. So, it comes down to things like implementing universal pharmacare so that everybody has access to the medications they need, and creating more affordable housing so that people aren't having to spend more than 30% of their income on a roof over their head. And acting quickly on climate change as well is very important to us, so that we're acting responsibly and using scientific measures, but at the same time we're making sure that nobody's going to lose their job, that we're effectively we're helping workers while we're doing it as we transition away from fossil fuels into the new green economy.
Right. Are people getting the message at the door, or what are the response to that?
People they're really receptive. They, like I said, I've been hearing a lot from people that they're struggling to get by. They're having to choose between which bills to pay each month. And so they really appreciate that we genuinely want to help them, and that is our number one goal, is to help the everyday people in Canada.
Right. Are you, in terms of this election, are you where you want to be at this point with 2 weeks to go?
I think so. I think we've got a pretty solid three-way race going on here in the Soo. Like I said, I'm getting a lot of support. I'm hearing a lot of positive things, and I think our message really resonates with people because, like I said, we're the only party that really genuinely wants to help the average person, and I think people respect that.
Right. What's the biggest thrill that you've had so far in the campaign?
Biggest thrill? That's a good question. I think it's just getting to talk to so many people and getting out there and hitting so many doors and hearing people's experiences and hearing that they want our help and that they are looking forward to getting our help.
Yeah, and you've got to balance your family life. I know your husband is watching. He's a great guy out there. But the fact is, you still have a husband and 2 small children, and you've got to balance all of that even during the campaign.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'm lucky, my husband definitely knows his way around the kitchen. He's taking care of the house, and he's been very supportive. And the kids, they're coming with me as much as possible when they can. Yesterday, I brought my daughter to the life chain counter protest. So, we're getting by, and they're very supportive. They understand, even my kids, they understand that I'm doing this to try to make the Soo a better place. And I think that they're really excited that I'm doing that.
So they understand why you're not home as much as you usually are.
Well, I'm usually away a lot, to be fair. I'm pretty busy, but they understand that I'm doing it for the right reasons, and my daughter, she seems proud of me, and it that really means a lot to me. So
great. What kind of a message are you hearing at the doorstep most often? Are people concerned with the future of Sault Ste. Marie?
They are, but I think the most common message that I'm getting at the doors is that people are really disillusioned. I hear from a lot of people, I don't even know if I'm going to vote this time. We keep hearing all these promises and then nothing happens. And I think a lot of that comes down to the fact that, 4 years ago, people came out to vote in almost record numbers because Trudeau made all of these great promises and gave people hope. And then now here we are 4 years later with how many broken promises. And nothing's really changed for the average person here in Sault Ste. Marie. And I think that really is hitting home to a lot of people, and they're really struggling with, how can I trust any of the parties now based on, that disappointment. Right. So I'm really making sure that people understand that it's important to me to genuinely make these changes, and that I'll never make a promise I can't keep. Right.
Are you concerned, Sara, that none of the national leaders have come to Sault Ste. Marie yet? I've been here almost 30 years, and I can't remember a time where at least a couple of national leaders drop by Sault Ste. Marie during this campaign?
I'm not concerned. I know, they're busy. Canada's a really big country, and I think that it, at least for our part, it just kind of shows that, Jagmeet and the party are trusting that I'm doing a good job representing us and that I am running a solid campaign.
Great. That's a good positive outlook. What issue do you think people will end up voting on the most, getting them to the polls here in a couple weeks?
Honestly, I think it's going to come down to affordability. Whoever they feel is going to make life more affordable for them. Like I said, here we are 4 years after Trudeau made a lot of really great promises, and nobody's better off here in the Soo. So I think that people are really they're going to take a look at our platforms, and I know our commitments are really solid to making life more affordable, introducing universal pharmacare, more affordable housing, reducing student debt burdens. And right. So I think that that's really what it's going to come down to is, who is the one who is most likely to put more money back in their pockets, but maintaining services at the same time, right? We don't need cuts to taxes if we're going to then see cuts to services. So it's really important, I think, that that's what people will be looking at.
Are you buying Andrew Scheer's solutions of tax cuts? Does that really help everybody across the board?
Not at all. Tax cuts only, they've been shown to really only help some of the top income earners. And really a lot of them come down to the fact that you have to be able to afford whatever that is in the first place to take advantage of the tax credit. So, for example, the one that I know Sunny keeps talking about is the children's fitness credit. Right. But if I can't afford a couple $1,000s to put my kids into gymnastics anyway, then that tax credit doesn't put any money back in my pocket. It does nothing for me. Right. So it really, tax cuts only help the people who can afford to get by in the first place.
You're right. At the end of the day, the tax cut is a one-time thing, and really, how do you broaden it out? It's not going to help you in the long run.
Exactly. And they have to cut services too to fund these tax cuts as well, and that's something that the Conservatives have been forgetting to mention. So I think that's something that people understand, and they're aware of that.
Right. What do you? Sault Ste. Marie is a volatile riding. What's your sense of this year? How people are going to go? Is the voter turnout going to be high or low?
I'm hoping high, but I mean, honestly, this is the fourth election in 2 years, and I know, like I said, people are feeling really disillusioned right now. So I'm really hoping that I'm trying to share a positive message and show people that I genuinely want to and will help, and I'm hoping that will encourage people to get out to vote.
Awesome. Sara, stay right there. We'll take a couple of commercial breaks, and we'll be right back after these commercials.
Here, your education is everything, supporting your true sense of purpose. Here, you'll learn from professors who will understand you, who will challenge you, and offer you support on your journey. Here, you'll study programs built on real values: business, technology, science, arts and social sciences, always geared to make a positive difference. Here, you'll have a chance to assist in faculty research, leaving your mark wherever you go. Here, you'll focus on what matters to you and impact the world around you. Algoma University. Come take a closer look.
Recently, the Government of Ontario established a $100 million affordability fund to help Ontarians who don't qualify for low-income conservation programs ease the burden of their electricity bill. Whether you rent or own your home, as long as you pay your electric bill, you could qualify. There are 3 levels of support available. The first is a home energy kit with upgrades like smart power bars and LED light bulbs. The second includes Energy Star appliances that help keep things cool during the hot summer months. The third is for electrically heated homes so that your power bills don't break the bank during those long Canadian winters. Plus, all upgrades, including installation, are completely free of charge. Visit affordabilityfund.org or call 1-855-494-FUND to find out if you qualify.
Welcome back to ONNPoint. I'm Andy Martins. We're live on ONTV. We're live on Facebook, and it's a big week until the election. Big couple of weeks. Amy Sacato tomorrow, and all candidates debate live here on Thursday with Tim and Luann. Right now we're chatting with the NDP candidate Sara McCleary, who will be back, incidentally, on October 15th. So lots of political action between now and the election. And Sara, we were talking before the break about affordability. I think the message of affordability resonates more when you say it, because you feel the electorate's pain.
Exactly, and that's a lot of why I'm doing this, is that a lot of people who struggle financially and with affordability the way that I do are frankly too tired working all the time to get out and really use their voice. And I, for whatever reason, have developed my voice within the Sioux, and I feel it's a responsibility to use my voice here.
Exactly, and I know it. I've been in Sault Ste. Marie for almost 30 years and around politics and a lot longer than that. And people sometimes get into politics for the wrong reasons, and I don't think anyone can say that about you, Sara.
Exactly. I mean, I've said kind of from the start that my family is the most important thing to me, and so I mean, I wouldn't be doing this for any other reason than to genuinely help people. Like, I wouldn't be away from my family so much for any other reason than to actually make a difference in the community for the people I care about and the people around me.
That's right, and you're in it for the right reasons to make a difference. On that note, Sault Ste. Marie has seen a lot of changes in recent years. What will you do for the people here that we haven't seen, that are struggling, we haven't seen in recent years?
I think it comes down, again, to just making life a little bit easier. Introducing services and programs like universal pharmacare and creating more affordable housing so that people are actually being helped. We've had tax cuts and cuts to services for years that haven't helped people here, and we've had these coming down from people who haven't lived the same realities as the average person in the Sioux. So I think that understanding those realities will really help me to make sure that the programs and services that we are introducing are actually going to help the people of the Sioux.
Exactly, and I'm sure there's some viewers thinking out there that, well, how is the NDP going to pay for all that?
That's a question that I do get, and our number one priority is making life more affordable for, like I say, the everyday person. So taxes will not go up on the everyday person. We're going to ask the richest amount in Canada to pay a little bit more. Anybody with $20 million or more in wealth, we're going to ask them to pay an extra 1%, and people in the top income bracket, we're going to ask to pay an extra 2% on that income, in addition to closing tax loopholes and things like that. So we have a really solid plan to pay for all of our commitments to Canadians.
See, I think that's the real difference between the Conservatives and the NDP. It's a flip effect. NDP seems to care more about the middle class. The Conservatives are the other way around. So there is a big difference between party philosophies.
And I think it's really important too to understand that the NDP cares about all Canadians, right? We care about the working class, we care about the middle class, and despite a lot of common misperceptions, we care about the upper classes because they'll benefit from these benefits from these services and programs too, right? They'll also be getting universal pharmacare. They'll also have access to all these other services that we want to introduce. So, we're really for all Canadians.
Exactly, and I think the time has come in Canada to do that. It really has. What do you think is the most important issue facing the Sioux? We've heard about the Ferrocone plant, climate change, all of that. Where do you think the most important issue is right now, as you see it?
Well, like I mentioned, I think a lot of it is being able to afford everyday bills, not struggling to get by, I think is kind of the most important issue that people are worried about. And, whether that comes down to those programs and services that I talked about, like universal pharmacare, affordable housing, caps on cell phone and internet rates, or job creation, because we know as we move towards a green economy that we're going to be creating new jobs in that green economy. And part of our commitments is to make sure that no community is left behind when we create those jobs, and I'll be making sure that some of those jobs are coming here to the Sioux. So whether it's through job creation or other programs and services to make life more affordable, I think that that's what's most important to people here.
We've been too late on climate change. Should we have started this 10 to 15 years ago?
Absolutely. We definitely are behind the game. Right now with the Liberals' current plan, we're actually set to meet the Paris targets at the same rate as the US, and Trump has completely disregarded the Paris Accords. So, we might as well not be doing anything at this point with what the Liberals have planned. So, it's important to us that we move quickly and that we do use scientific measurements and, base our plans on what research is saying we need to do. And we need to do that quickly.
Right. A lot of people are interested, worried about climate change, but it doesn't seem to be getting the traction that the issue deserves. As MP for Sault Ste. Marie, how would you help whoever is leading a prime minister fast track that?
Well, actually, I just saw a study yesterday that people in the Sioux are actually more concerned about climate change than the average rates across Canada. So I think people in the Sioux really do want to see action on climate change. We know that if our river rises and we see floods, that our insurance rates are going to go up, and businesses aren't going to want to invest in the downtown if it's flooding. And so really, making sure that we recognize that it's a priority for a lot of reasons, right? So making sure that we're acting responsibly and, like I said, with scientific goals in mind.
Well, last week we saw a rain of 90 to 120 millimeters in a 12-hour period. Who would have ever thought that would happen?
Exactly, and I actually spoke with somebody 2 days ago whose basement flooded. She had 3 feet of water in her basement,
Wow.
and she lost everything in her basement. She was still, this was a week later, without heat or hot water, and she said everybody on her street was the same way, that they were going through the same things. So we need to act, whether it's through investing in the new technologies, or helping municipalities prepare for these eventualities, because we know that they're going to continue to happen. We have a commitment to acting on climate change quickly and, in a way that shows that we actually want to win.
If you get elected MP on October 21st, Sara, would you gently encourage the mayor and council to move towards a resolution on climate change?
100%. That's actually my plan, no matter what happens on October 21st. I've been a loud voice in the climate change kind of community in town here, and I'll continue to be one.
Right. And we also have a problem in the Sioux. Families are facing more and more precarious work. Steel plant is hiring fewer people than they used to. What would you do as MP to help these workers in the Sioux moving forward?
Well, as I've mentioned, before, I myself am struggling with precarious work. I work 3 jobs. I'm at St. Vincent Place part-time. I write for the paper, and then I also do freelance communications work. So, I totally understand the struggles and the frustration that comes with precarious work and struggling to find a job in the Sioux. So it's really important to me that we don't just sit back and do some more studies. We need to act quickly. So, like I said, things like investing in the new green economy and making those jobs come to the Sioux, I think is really important, and making sure that we're really pushing to bring jobs to the Sioux and not just sitting back and, like when an opportunity presents itself, like the smelter, and then going for it. We need to be proactive,
Right.
And look for those opportunities.
Your job at Sioux this week, you're a columnist, of course, and St. Vincent's Place. How do you find those jobs that you've done will help you if you become MP? What skills have you learned in those jobs that will help you going forward in Ottawa if you're elected?
I mean, communications is a big part of what I do now, and it's a big part of what you do as an MP, communicating with other groups and other members, and making sure that you can develop those relationships. And that's something that I've become very good at, and done a lot of in town here. But I think also it's given me a really good insight into the Sioux. So whether I'm writing about an issue for the paper, or whether I'm seeing it, the people coming into the food bank and hearing their stories, and seeing their history and their background. So I've gotten a really good kind of feel for the pulse of the community, and I think that also gives me good insight in terms of what needs to happen here to make life better for people.
Exactly. And in our remaining minute, let's get a comment about attracting millennials. Is that an important goal for you in the next 2 weeks, to really go hard in trying to get millennials to the polls?
Absolutely. We know that millennials are the largest voting bloc this year for the first time ever. I myself am a millennial, so I understand the frustrations and why they've generally kind of kept away from the polls. But I really hope that they recognize that it's our future, and it's up to us to make the changes and to go out and vote and use our voice as we need to.
Awesome, Sarah. Thank you so much for coming in today, and good luck in the debate at Algoma University tonight. And we'll see you back here on ONNPoint on October 15th.
Thanks for having me.
All righty. We'll be back to wrap up the show right after these messages.
Since 1899, the Machine Shop has been a unique space for innovation and creativity. Once a leading pulp and paper company, the Machine Shop was built by Francis H. Clerg, which later became part of St. Mary's Paper in 1984. After the closure of St. Mary's Paper in 2011, the Machine Shop spent 4 years vacant. In 2015, the Machine Shop reopened their doors to the community for the first time. From weddings to galas to concerts and festivals, the one-of-a-kind venue has something for everyone. We are proud to work with the community and local nonprofits to host major events such as Festival of Trees, Pearls and Plaid, an evening at Hogwarts, and more. While you're here, wind down at the Mill Steakhouse and Wine Bar for a quiet dining experience, or watch a game and try a wood fire oven pizza and local draft at the Boiler Room. Don't forget to save room for house-made gelato and baked goods at the Gelato Mill. For more information on the Machine Shop events, history, and restaurants, visit machineshopinc.ca. 3 great places, 1 historic venue.
Welcome back to ONNPoint. Wanted to thank Sara McCleary very much for being on the show, the NDP candidate. As mentioned, she'll be back on separate segments with Terry Sheehan, the Liberal candidate, on October 15th. Tomorrow we have Amy Ciccato from the People's Party, and of course the All Candidates debate right here at On TV on October 10th with Luann and Tim. And that does it for another edition. I'm Andy Martins. We'll see you tomorrow, and you have a great day. We'll take care.